Radio Tatras International.
That'll be me then. Hello everybody, it's a Friday, it's Postcard from Poprad, and I'm getting better. Hello Susanna.
Hello everybody.
Susanna's, and I've got to say that we commend Rachel's dad because it's wonderful news. Rachel's out with her dad. She's trying to get back because he's had clearance from cancer.
Oh.
So they're having a family dinner.
Wow.
Isn't that lovely?
That's an
I
occasion.
think that's beautiful. So well done to Rachel's dad. We'll do a couple of quick hellos. Hello to Alter Ego in America. Hello to Raymond. How are you? And Frank, who's in Germany. DKQ, a regular. Thank you for coming back in Germany. Chimneys in the USA. I like the way you spell chimney. Joshua, I don't know where you are, but you send us love hearts, that will do. We don't mind that. Hello to Double E. Glowish. Where is Glowish? Nigeria. Ooh.
That's far.
That's a long way away. Hello to Paul, the producer, who's in the US. No, he's in the UK. It says good morning. Hi. Michael. Hello. Says good morning, everybody. Axel says good day, RTI. Hello, beautiful. I think he means you.
Yes.
I don't think he really means me somehow. Luz, I don't know where you are. GB Boys is definitely in GB and laughing. Hello. And there's a lot of people going hello to everybody and doing stuff. And Steve said, hello, Steve. Steve, the footy nut guy, is there. Axel says, hello, Susanna.
Hello.
Why am I not surprised? Steve says, morning. And I think Axel's quite happy because we played 2 of his tracks. Ian says, afternoon, Eric and Susanna. That's rather nice of you. Thank you. And Steve says, pretty lady. Hello.
You know what, Eric? I love you now community. I see regular names, like they're like devotees.
Yeah.
But also there are new countries coming, new names, weird names, nice messages,
all the time,
communicating with each other. That's so sweet.
And to be honest, boys and girls, Trina says, hello, Eric and Susanna. How are we today?
Hello, Trina.
Well, I suppose the best news of this week is that when I was in hospital, just need to share, when you have pneumonia, they give you these terrible tablets to force the water out of your body, and that puts your kidneys under pressure. Now, I don't understand the numbers, but, clearly somebody will. Apparently my doctor said she likes my numbers to be at 110. They were 130, which is too high. And on this week's blood test, they were down to 116.
Wow, going down nicely.
Yeah. And Steve says, do they force you to lose weight? No, that's the hospital food. No offence to the hospital people, but I just don't eat hospital food. That got rid of me.
Eric is very picky.
Well, I'm not picky.
Oh, come on.
Maybe a little bit.
Little bit, yes.
Yeah, it helps now. I've turned my headphones up as well, without deafening Susanna. So it's been a good week this week, in that my doctor is happier with me, and I think the next blood test is September or October. Now you should go to the gym. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Good topic.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve. No, I have a physiotherapist now twice a week. And I kid you not, by the time she's finished, I have to go and have a shower before I come to the office.
And then he comes to the office completely broken.
Yes. Like, bleh. And Trina says, nice to have our family together back on here. Thank you, Trina. No, it is nice. It is nice. And it's lovely to recreate the family that we used to have on LBC many years ago. And Michael adds, hell would freeze over before Eric goes to the gym. I have been to a gym. I looked. I did. But Elizabeth makes me walk now.
That's good.
She says, Daddy, walking. And we had to, I was out for an hour yesterday, not walking, I was standing up, wasn't sitting down, and walking, because Lunatic now puts the crash helmet on and goes on a scooter. Oh, thank you, Steve. Good, he says. By the time they finish with you, you'll be ready for the OAP Olympics. Old age pensioners.
Okay, got it. But walking is very good, actually. I find it because even it is just walking, but for example, young children keep adults young.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be, you have to keep up with them.
Oh, I mean, with Elizabeth's very good, actually. We've got keywords that I use, like car, stop. I mean, if there's a car coming, you just say the word car and she'll stand still. She won't run about. So that's okay. But the other thing is you get to meet people.
Yes.
And I met this lovely lady called Petra yesterday. Her son was on his little trike scooter thing. And he decided he was going to swap with Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
So she got on the tractor thing and he got on her scooter thing, and we're all both going, oh. And started chatting to her. And, do you know, you get the most amazing information.
Mm-hmm.
Because we started talking, and apparently she's a key account manager for a compressor company in the town down near the road. Yes, Steve, Elizabeth deserves a medal for getting you to walk. And so I said, and she said, well, I was in England a couple of weeks ago seeing all my clients, because she's a key account manager, obviously sales. Mitchell just said hello, Mitchell.
Hello.
They're all going over onto you now. Facebook's dying, and I had to ask her, because all we see on the news is these terrible Brexit problems and it's all a disaster. And she said, no, you just have a couple of forms to fill out, and as long as you do them properly, it all happens. There's no problem with Brexit at all. So I thought, well, why is everybody whinging about it then?
Because we like to complain.
Yeah, positively negative, both countries. But there you go. And I also have to say, what a wonderful scene it was this week with the tributes during the funeral procession of Ozzy Osbourne. It wasn't the actual funeral itself, but it was an amazing thing to see all those people just... Well, I mean, they must have just taken a day off work, I guess.
It was big because it looked like really somebody important passed away. And it's just respect. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, scientists have... Oh, this is Michael. Scientists have just come out and said the 10,000 steps thing is a myth. To have full health benefits... You only need to walk 7,500 steps a day. What's the difference? I suppose actually that's quite a lot, isn't it?
Would you take time to count? I never count anything. No calories, no steps, nothing.
No, but on smartwatches it does it for you.
Yeah, I know.
But I don't wear a smartwatch.
Yeah, I know.
I don't understand them. It's like people say, oh, well, you can look at the time on your mobile. I go, no.
You can get addicted to that. Checking everything.
No, fresh out of that. Talking about complaining, says Steve, the BBC cut their coverage short of the celebration for the women's football teams. They should have kept it going. Well, yeah, I agree. But that, again, is so typical of, even in Slovakia, that they sort of, there's something great, and they do it, and then they cut away from it. Too early, in my opinion, but... What would I know about it? Well, actually, no, we don't. It is one of those things where it's modern broadcasting. That's the problem. It's not just the BBC. They do it here as well. You know, they'll have like a 2-minute segment where I would have a 5-minute segment and ditch the story at the end that wasn't really valuable anyway.
True.
And I think that's us, a generational thing. Whereas we do... I mean, I'll give you a perfect example now. I was talking to Michael yesterday, and he's produced some amazing tracks. In fact, you can hear one of them on his show. And I said, God, we'll have to have a people's radio show with Michael and Axel, a special. And it's something we can do, because we don't have the problems of all the accountants mucking about, the people, you know, this committee meeting before you can blow your nose. And so I suppose we're just a bit old-fashioned. Never mind. Steve says, Did the TV there show the celebrations for you coming out of the hospital? No, but it was really funny. When I came out of the intensive care unit, ICU, it was like a party atmosphere. They're all shouting, "Bye, Eric! Bye, Eric!" I don't know if they were pleased to get rid of me or whether they were happy I'm going. I don't know. But, you know, it was slightly different. And I think the other thing is that modern media people actually don't understand positive news.
That's very true. We like naturally drawn to
Negatives. Yeah.
So
I just find it very annoying that, and especially with youngsters, you know, we're great at going, oh, look, that youngster did this, and chastise everybody. Well, wouldn't, you know, we keep sort of saying that kids are bad. If the media then said the kids are actually good, I think it would encourage more kids to be good, because they all want 15 seconds of fame. So if you give the good ones the media coverage, not the bad ones, then that would encourage more kids to be positive. I don't know, it might not work.
you know what I call it, push or pull.
Yes.
Push means like you are criticized and you are expected to change by being pushed into being somebody else. And pull for me is motivation, inspiration, like who you can be. You know, like you have example and you follow it.
Yeah, it's carrot
And
or stick.
Yeah, and somehow on this push thing, I don't know, rules. But you know, talking about the news yesterday, I loved it. I just checked BBC in the morning and I had to laugh. I don't know if it was like bad or good, but I mentioned to you that by mistake, some of the energy drinks cans were filled up with vodka. And I had to laugh. I had to laugh. Like, you buy this can of energy drink, imagine myself being in the gym, and I take a sip, like, am I happy or not that moment? No?
I mean, how daft can you get? Steve wants to know, does Michael do similar music to Axel? No. If he does, then it should be a battle. Mitchell's, and I agree with you, Mitchell. I enjoyed watching the women's football, but to show it on BBC One and ITV simultaneously, that's a regulatory thing. You know, they don't even show the FA Cup final on both channels. Thought it was a bit much. No, it's one of those things where there is an option for both channels to show it, and that's governed as well. So Michael says, I do all sorts of music, from rock, heavy metal, orchestral and pop. The thing that annoys Steve about the media is when the exam results come out, they all say the exams were too easy and the kids were failing. I know. It's just wrong. It really is.
But you know what? When you talk to teachers, they would not say it was easy. Really, me being a teacher for a couple of years, like 17, 18 years.
Right.
And I noticed that some exams actually, some questions were really tricky. I wouldn't say it was difficult for the teacher, but for the student, the level was kind of a bit higher.
Yeah, I think the expectations change, and therefore certain groups of people do tend to be negative about stuff, or say it's easy. No, exams are never easy. If you've ever done an exam and you haven't got butterflies in your tummy, I think you're asleep. Everybody gets like that. Axel says, right, Mitchell loves the women football. It was good. Do you know what I loved about it? It was football. It wasn't tippy-tappy football. They actually went, you know, they played football.
I wonder if it's watched more by men or women.
I can't remember what the percentage was at the European Cup final, but it was pretty much 50-50. There was a lot of guys watching it. When the results come out, says Steve, you need to interview someone who took them and ask them if they were too easy, then get a journalist to take them. That's a good idea. I bet they couldn't. And it was quite funny with a former colleague here. Her daughter came in and said, I don't understand this. So I said, what don't you understand? Blah, blah, blah. So I said, right, go to the kitchen. And we did physics in the kitchen with a balloon and water. And she got it. And I think the trouble is that a lot of these people, they definitely forget. I mean, you think about, perfect example is driving. We take a driving test and then we learn to drive.
Yes.
How many they moan and groan about this, that, and it's like they go beep, 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 beep. And all they're doing is getting stressed out. I just go, yeah, okay, don't care. And I was taught that at the Metropolitan Police School in Hendon, North London, the driving school. And they said, look, because I actually said to her, what's the police rules? Because, you know, it's got to be different. He said, no, not really. He said, but, you know, we watch the junctions, but if somebody wants to go, just let them.
Definitely.
And if they sit there sort of looking at the dashboard and they're not going anywhere, go. And it makes so much sense.
Oh, come on. I've been to India. Can you imagine traffic there? I thought I was going to die the first day. But actually, I've never seen any accident where people were rude to each other.
Yeah.
And here you have two cars at the intersection bumping into each other and a quarrels on the table. So it is about having that kind of empathy and something, you know, like feeling the situation.
Yeah. And it's an epitome of what Steve's saying. Then they say driving is fun. Then when I get a lift, we're all stuck in a traffic jam. What's fun about that? Well, no, I know. Because when I first came to Slovakia, a traffic jam was 5 cars.
Yes.
Now, unfortunately, at the moment, they are rebuilding loads of bridges because we've got rivers that go through the middle of Poprad. And it's screwed up the traffic completely. Oh, my God, it's terrible. Yeah. Michael says they did that a few years ago when the BBC presenters took a GCSE maths and both of them failed the test with a big fat F for fail. Good. And I think a lot of people would, because the academic side of testing doesn't always go through to practical use in later life. So you do often find that. Mitchell's just adding, apparently President Bush is to advertise the new Fanta advert according to TikTok News. Yeah, right. Well, if TikTok News says it, you go the opposite. Axel wouldn't go out with a woman football player.
No.
I don't know why. I mean, a friend of mine's married to an ice hockey player, lady ice hockey player.
So you are either her friend or you run with her.
Yeah. But I mean, Susanna's very, very strong.
I am strong. That's true.
She's very... Have you just seen her the other week? We went to a shop to pick up a device.
Oh, what a device.
You like that, don't you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. and it's really cute. And I didn't... Girls, you're going to love this. I didn't know this existed. And it was so flaming heavy, wasn't it?
Yeah,
to lift it in the back of the car, flipping heck. It took the whole boot space. And we got it to my house. No Martina, she'd gone out with Elizabeth, so we just put it in the house and left it. Cut a long story short, this thing lives upstairs now, and instead of ironing clothes, you put the clothes in this thing, which stands taller than me, so it does shirts, trousers, the whole 9 yards, and it's like a telescopic lens on an old camera that comes up, and it seals, and then it just irons the clothes for you. You don't have to do any ironing anymore. I mean, wow.
Girls out there, we would love it.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't get that. So now you know what homework is before the next show. Take a GCSE maths exam. Steve, thank you very much. No, I probably would fail it, to be quite honest, because I can't do it on here, but I can show Susanna and she can verify it next time she comes on here. 27, well, hang on. No, 13 times 7 equals 28.
I'm very bad at maths, really.
But 13 times 7 equals 28, and I can prove it on paper. It's a bit of a joke.
There's some trick there, definitely.
I suppose if you went out with a woman football player, the relationship would be a game of two halves. Oh, God. Michael! Where's the tumbleweed sound effect? Don't know about him. American boxer Mike Tyson defeated Tony Tucker in 1987 and was recognised as the undisputed heavyweight champion, with all three sanctions organisations agreeing he was the world champ.
His name will live forever. Everybody knows his name.
Yeah, I know.
It's just, yeah.
Well, this didn't work very well, did it? 1981, because it's not there anymore. Well, it is still there, but it's not the same. The cable TV network, MTV, debuted with the broadcast of the video. Video killed the radio star by the Buggles, and it didn't. Ha, 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 ha. And I wasn't, because that was in America, obviously. But I did go to the launch party in England for MTV Europe, yeah. And it was a bit wild.
What do you mean wild?
It was a bit...
Come on.
Youthish.
Oh.
A bit laddish.
Oh.
Yes. I'm not saying a word. But it was fun, let's put it like that. And we all went home with lots of goodies as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I remember MTV because here nobody would be allowed, or
in the old days.
Yeah, old days. But my friend, her father used to work somewhere in Germany, and they got some kind of, I don't know what kind of device, you would know that because you're a satellite man, and we would come to their place and watch MTV.
Yeah.
It was something like, oh my God, now I can see them.
Were you in isolation at the party compared to the rest? No! No, I was... the press officer was called Chris. He was introducing me to people I hadn't got a clue they were. And by that time I didn't care anyway, because we were drinking loads of champagne.
I'm sure you were on the stage or taking pictures with some kind of a celebrity. Or
I did take some pictures because the magazine I worked for at the time wanted pictures, and I forgot till the end. We got some though. Stupid autocorrect. Were you the cap at the party? No, I wasn't the OAP. No, I wasn't. It was years ago. I'm trying to think when it was now.
Must have been there.
Early 90s. I think it was in the early 90s. I can't remember, to be quite honest. But MTV's not MTV anymore anyway, because it's all full of stuff. There's nothing to do. I used to like the original MTV. It was quite good. But the more modern one, no, not my cup of tea at all. But there we go. It started in 1981 and it's still going today. No, not mad, actually.
Music will live in some form.
I mean, that is quite good for a TV network from 1981 to still be going. That's a commercial network. I don't mean the sort of state broadcaster things. But yeah, and it was an alternative channel, for goodness sake. It was for the youth. Yeah, it was. I don't know. I just thought MTV rocked. It did. 1944, the Warsaw Uprising, not far from us, began. The Polish underground tried to oust the German army and seize control of the city before it was occupied by the advancing Soviet army. After running out of supplies, the Poles were forced to surrender in October. But they did eventually win, and Lech Wałęsa then, a few years, a long time later, actually got the real freedom. And what a guy he was. The final entry in 1944 in the diary of Anne Frank, a Jewish girl who spent 2 years in hiding during the Nazi occupation of the Netherlands. And she did loads of good work, Anne Frank. Mm-hmm. Do you know her? Or know of her?
No, not really.
I don't suppose they were allowed to talk about it. Because, am I right in saying that a lot of the history books were rewritten here to reflect a different history rather than the truth?
Yes. Yeah, I think so, yeah. The certain parts were changed or, skipped.
Yeah. Ridiculous. That is just so yeah. They messed up MTV when they put rap on MTV. It ruined it. I wouldn't say that. But they messed it up when they started putting all the different documentaries on it.
It was supposed to be just about music.
Yeah, it's music television, MTV. But when you've got all these sort of silly, reality TV shows on there, no, it kind of ruined it. But it's like, I'll be honest, there's very few rap songs that I like. Very, very few. In fact, you could count them on one hand probably. But there again, there are people that like rock music who don't like EDM music and vice versa. So the truth is there should be a show with rap in it. Now, actually, we don't have one of those, but that's because we're slightly different. What was the biggest lie in the old history books that has been corrected? I guess America won the Second World War. Because the Russians said they won everything.
Yeah, but remember we had a talk once about East and West, how we thought you lived at that time. Yeah, so I think, I feel like not only in the books, but everything was a little bit twisted.
Yeah, no, I remember the conversation because we were talking about something and it got to, I mean, I have big pictures of ships in my office.
Yes, everywhere.
And eventually we got to converse about the reason why. And Susanna thought that we had free media, everything was wide open.
Everything was allowed.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that we thought, like, you are free people, you can buy everything, watch everything, listen to everything, wear everything, eat everything.
Do whatever you want.
Yes, whatever you want.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the bottom line is, as a teenager, I was furious in 1967 when they took all my commercial radio stations away from me, which I don't consider them to be pirates. I think they were offshore. The radio stations from the 90s, Steve just said, radio ships? Yeah. And I do have pictures of a lot of the ships, so some in the studio here actually, although you can't see them. We were living under a very socialist regime in the 60s. We were told what to do, when to do. There was still rationing.
Really?
In the 1960s. I remember my father saying in the shop, and it was 1970 or 71, he said, "Eric, what a day. Sugar's not rationed anymore." What? Did they have pirate radio here? No. We never had pirate radio here, have we?
Never heard of such. No.
No, never, ever. And to be very honest, it would have been, you were arrested and some went to prison just for listening to the radio from America.
Exactly.
What was the worst thing?
Here, for me, very practically, having oranges and bananas only twice a year, a kilo per family.
You're joking me.
I'm not joking. It was for Easter and Christmas time. You had to stay in a line to get a kilo of oranges and bananas per family. That's my childhood.
And Steve's actually just raised a very interesting question. I don't know how we got here, but we're here. So how did people get the truth? Well, they didn't know what the truth was, did they?
No, it was just the image we were given, like that freedom which they have is actually not good. But I think in each of us there's kind of a jealousy, like longing for something you don't know, but you feel that gives you more than you have.
Well, I mean, this is the funny thing, Steve, well, if you can call it funny, under those circumstances. A lot of people wanted to go to the seaside. Now, they weren't allowed to go. So what the Soviets did is they built the seaside in Slovakia. And it's out in the east. You can still go, it's a bit run down now. But seriously, if you stand on the beach, which is sandy, and look to the horizon, all you can see is water. And it was a seaside venue built in a landlocked country, just to allow people to go to the seaside. And, you know, another guy told me once he got permission to go to holiday in Hungary. And he took his family in the tractor.
Yes. Hungary. I remember my mom, she went to Bulgaria once. My first seaside holiday was when I was, I think, 23. Never with my family. Like I said, with my family, we would go to all these lakes and dams here in Slovakia.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
No.
Staycation was an uninvented word at the time. But there was to answer your question properly, Steve, you could hear the BBC World Service here, but it was a bit dodgy. You would never do it at home or in the company of other people, because you wouldn't want the other people to drop you in the car and you end up being arrested. You could listen to the Voice of America or Radio Free Europe. You could in the evenings listen to Radio Luxembourg, because it got to most parts of Slovakia, but that was it.
I didn't know about that. For me, it was one radio station, 2 TV channels, that's it.
But that was Slovak government.
And it was Slovak government, everything. Yeah. That's it. That was my life. And illegally, if you were lucky, you got something from Poland. So that was, kind of a bonus.
Well, actually, there's quite a lot of TV that leaks into. If people had to queue, how much work did they do? Well, they had to take time off work, didn't they?
Yes.
And
actually, we worked 24th of December is actually the biggest holiday here, because we have Christmas dinner, so the whole family is together. So we all had to work, went to school, everything till, like, say, 4 p.m. And then you quickly went and stay in a line and get the oranges and then come back, fix the dinner, and that's it. It was just... I remember myself standing in a line, really.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very fortunate. I've spoken to lots of people here. When you hear... And I did the same when I used to go up to the Baltic states quite a lot, especially Latvia. And you talk to people about that which happened... You think to yourself, God, I had it easy. And honestly, you know, I can't think of anybody listening to this station now that had it as bad as somebody living here. And actually where we live was quite relaxed in a lot of ways, because the Russians used to use it as a holiday place for all the generals and, you know, the hierarchy. So it was more westernised than other parts of the country. But even so, you know, you still had to do as you were told. You know, I'll give you another perfect example, Steve. When you were allowed to build your own house, but you had 3 plans to choose from. You couldn't just sort of design the outside of your house and it'll all be different. No. You had to have one of the government approved drawings to build your house. Inside was different, but the outside had to be an approved outside. You couldn't just do your own thing. And the other funny thing they did here, there was, and it's still here, there's a huge estate here full of flats, massive place. And where did they put the garages? About a kilometre away.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
how daft can you get? But there was a poetic justice. I don't know if you...
You know, I think that we were kind of brainwashed,
Yep.
believing that everybody was equal. Like really, everybody had work. Everybody had,
But everybody had to work and wanted to work.
there was no unemployment, like a big issue here. Everybody was
But
working.
if you weren't working, you worked for the local authority.
Yeah.
And you had to wear one of those high-vis jackets. So everybody knew you were out of work. I mean, were there government-approved clothes? No. But the school uniforms were all approved, weren't they?
We did have these pioneer shirts for special occasions, something.
Yeah, they were all the same.
Even the school system was different, because I remember having classes morning and afternoon. So 1 week or morning, then the following we started in the afternoon and we were there till 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And every other Saturday we still went to school. So it was different.
And Steve added, is it true the only colour was grey? No.
No.
Now that's another one of the myths of that floats around. But it is true to say that a lot of the buildings were greyish.
Yes. Yeah.
It was a very grey country, even when I first came here. But now it's all pretty colours and everybody paints buildings, and it's, if you want to use the term, yes, it was slightly negative, whereas today it's positive with roundabouts full of flowers, and in the old days it was just a chunk of mud.
That's true.
You know.
I think they try to keep people not think any differences, like like similar, like uniform. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole country was like in the uniform.
And I remember getting a bit fed up being on my own here, and a colleague said, "Oh, well, come with me and my partner to my mum's house for Saturday." So I said, "Well, what do you do then?" Well, same as the old days. We get drunk, and then we sleep through Monday, and we go back to work on Sunday, and go back to work on Monday. And I went, "What?" And that was it.
Yeah, routine.
That routine was very cheap alcohol, so you got drunk, smoked a lot. So Saturday was a family day, but then everybody was plastered. So on the Sunday, you kind of recovered, and then back to work on Monday. So you never had time to think about anything. And equally, there was very few cars.
That's very, very true.
Yeah, there were mopeds, a few motorbikes, yes, but cars were so scarce, even in 2045. And I wasn't joking. A traffic jam was 5 cars, and if you were lucky, you got a very basic Skoda after the Trabant.
Yes.
At time.
Trabant's called a Lada also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, were people for Ed to have pictures of the leader in their house? Oh, as they do in North Korea? Yeah, you had statues everywhere, didn't you, as well?
Statues. In every single classroom there was a picture. Some people even at home. That's true. A lot of statues around the cities.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was... And the trouble with anything like that is you need a load of money to do it. And that's what happened to the old Soviet bloc situation. It ran out of money because people just got fed up and they didn't stick to the rules of where you can buy things from. And the then Soviet government ran out of money, and they just sort of said, "Oh, we're pulling out of here." Then that was a load of rubbish. They just didn't have any money, and people that were in the armed forces never got paid for a very, very long time, if at all. And everybody was promised the earth. When you retire, we'll be looking after you. And when people retired, there was no pension plan for them. There was no money, and so the whole thing just caved in. And that will probably happen again.
RTI.
Hello.
How did I do that? Stop there. How did that happen? Oh, I pressed the button over there. I hit the wrong sort of thing, getting completely messed up. Where are we on the days? Colorado was admitted to the U.S. Union on this day in 1876. What is it? Hold on. We're going back to the same subject. I'm forgetting about the days. I'll give up. Not going to happen. It was said that the Soviet Union was bankrupted trying to keep up with the Reagan Star Wars. No. It ran out of money per se. The thing is, if you are controlling governments or countries, you have to pay for that privilege. Now, it's not a privilege really, it's just a control factor. So you're running huge armies, huge armament things, controlling the economies, and you need to be the global financial organisation to do that, and that's never happened. So it wasn't to do with Reagan or any one particular person, because they just couldn't afford to keep all these army people in place, run organisation, run medical care. It just wasn't affordable, and so they had huge problems. And eventually they used a load of excuses like, "Oh, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that." And the truth is, they just ran out of money. Typical says, "Yeah, I know, Steve. First time back and I take over the show. Hasn't anybody else got any questions?" Yes, they have. But I kind of like your ones. They're all kind of prevalent. And we've got Susanna here, who's a very lucky person in some ways, in that where she's positioned within the age groups, she can still remember the old days, rather like, and I'll get the answer in a minute because I'll do the story. At one point, you just had like council bread. You had one bread. The day after the Velvet Revolution, you had 3 or 4, and the next day there was like 20 to choose from.
I remember that day. I was 15 when it all happened.
Yeah.
Really, it was, and it was interesting because, like I said, we were brainwashed in a way that I didn't understand why they won't change that. Like why? I knew we were missing something, but in a way we were kind of happy, satisfied, not complaining much. And suddenly everything changed. And like you said, there are things happening, like something was taken away from us, but a lot of new things came in.
What was taken away?
Yeah. I don't mean like material.
Medical care was one of them, wasn't it?
Medical, yeah.
Because we
also
went to
work, like everybody had work. Suddenly it was different. Suddenly there were not enough places, positions open. So, but in education, that also before everybody had some place at school, and now you had to compete with other. Competition actually came.
Yeah.
That changed a lot. Competition.
What was the most positive thing?
The change, availability of things, food, clothes, everything which came, information from abroad. Music, for example. Oh my God, music. Suddenly you could have, vinyls here, records, everything just came. And it was also about kind of in the religious area. It was the first time I remember when I heard about other religions. I mean, like, wow, there are more in the world.
Well, I mean, back in the day, the radio that was offered in villages was state controlled through PA systems. There wasn't a radio. And in fact, what they used to do here, they used a different set of frequencies, which was all agreed. And because of that, you couldn't tune radios in to Western frequencies because it was all the lower band that the Russians.
It was very much controlled, everything, really, before.
And the first radio here was rock radio, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Which died a bit quick. Where are we? Loads of stuff in. I'm surprised that she is one enough to have lived through that. She sounds like she's in her 20s. Oh, very
good. Thank you, I am.
Oh. If there are any real good documentaries about this, can you post about them after the show? It's hard.
It is.
Because for a long time after the Velvet Revolution, yes, there was an easing of problems. And yes, there are some films about, but there wasn't a whole bunch of stuff done because it just swapped.
Yes.
It just swapped and nobody cared about the past. It just like went down the toilet almost.
You know, we were like screaming for freedom, but we didn't know what freedom was.
Yeah, you couldn't validate
you want
it.
something like something new is coming, but you know, I remember all these, you know, in the street coming and these meetings and everything and speakers and you have like thousands of people having these slogans, everything. But we were for freedom of, I didn't know what the freedom meant.
Was, yeah. Yes. So if you've got nothing to balance it against, you don't know where you're going. But I mean, it is true that, you know, the first commercial radio station came here. Didn't do very well because it went out of business, but there's lots of other stories. And for example, because of the lack of money floating around and because they wanted to keep air traffic control going, the British actually sent the RAF over here. And a lot of them were based around here. And they would help renew a whole load of stuff that was smashed up by the Russians when they left. And in fact, in Latvia, when they left, they smashed huge valves, known as lamps here, for radio stations, which honestly were over a metre tall, and they just put hammers through them just to smash them all up, which is very, very ridiculous in a lot of ways. But that's what they were told to do, so they did it. You know, they cut cables to transmitters. Oh, you know, it can all be fixed. When was the first time you didn't have to queue for food and stuff?
Basic food we did have all the time. But these extras, like I said, bananas, oranges. I don't remember if it was really the first Christmas because Velvet Revolution was November. And,
finished at the end of November in reality.
Yeah. So I think that Christmas, I don't remember the Christmas, probably it was still messy, confusing, everything was still very fresh. But the following year, I think, all it came slowly.
Yeah, I can imagine a lot of it from the amount of conversations I've had in different parts of Europe, which opened my eyes to everything. But the thing is, you didn't know you were queuing up in reality. I know it sounds silly, because it was just normal.
It was normal for Easter and Christmas having something special.
Yeah.
And we were like thankful that we could have something special.
But that goes through with everything else. I mean, if you take the UK, for example, people in the houses leave lights on everywhere. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Here, everybody turns the lights off. And if I don't turn them off, Susanna does. It's like automatic.
Yes.
And now it gets under your skin and I do it. Because back then you couldn't afford to keep all the lights on all the time. There wasn't enough money going around. Michael's just given us a bit of breaking news. A yellow weather warning has been released for Northern England, Scotland and Northern Ireland. Storm Floris is likely to bring a spell of unseasonable strong and potentially disruptive winds should hit the areas between Monday the 4th of August and the 5th of August, so it's coming up soon. Yeah, we had strong winds here yesterday.
It has been crazy. The weather, like for weeks, these weeks and months around the world, it just.
I feel sorry for the farmers because, in fact, I saw some combines going out this morning because it was dry yesterday and today, and going out on the road this morning, and I passed 2 combines with no problems whatsoever. All you numpties that moan about tractors and combine. That's how you make your bread, you idiots. Eric, when this was all going on, did you know about it? Yes. Only because, oh God, what's time? Only because my boss at a TV channel actually sat me down and explained communism to me. And the reason he did that is we used to get a lot of letters from Sweden, and Vienna was a really strong postmark with Austria, yeah? So we would get letters from Austria and from Sweden from people saying, please can you answer my question on the TV, but don't put my name there. Well, of course, they were watching illegally. So, yes, I did know what was going on about that from before the Velvet Revolution. And equally, I've told the story many times, so I'll keep it short. When a friend asked me to send some transmitter parts to Latvia via Sweden, because Latvia did have pirate radio stations, and it was in Latvian. That's what they did because everything else was in Russian. So I did supply parts to a pirate radio station in Latvia, which were all tuned up to 100.5 FM, Super FM, out of Riga. So, I did understand a lot what was going on, but I don't think I really appreciated the magnitude of it, because you can't unless you're here. You've got to live somewhere before you can understand what was going on.
Exactly.
It's like sometimes when you get the odd person, it was better in the old days because we all had jobs and I'm going, yeah, right. Yeah.
I even remember each child had to have a pen friend from Russia. I also have exchange letters. It was like compulsory to practice Russian language, but also I think keeping that kind of a relationship.
Yeah,
with
just
that
to keep you in the right sort of area. Before we get the show ends, do you have any plans for the 14th of August? Funnily enough, we were only talking about that this morning.
Yes.
So, yes, it's a Thursday, so we'll be doing something during the day, Steve. Don't you? I'm not going to tell you what it is, because I keep finding other material when I look through. I've been at a process of looking through the hard drives for something this week on a completely un-radio project. And you keep bumping into stuff and going, I'll put that in that box ready for another day. And you do. So
our library is huge.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when will we have the Axel and Michael special? I don't know yet, but we will tell you when it's up there, because... we can just notify people on Facebook and Twitter and here and everybody else. So it only leaves me to say, blimey, we got to go. And you've got a relaxing weekend, haven't you?
Yes. I'm alone.
You're alone.
No children.
Your little girl's gone with Daddy on a holiday.
I can do whatever I want. So
Actually, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Because behind one of our supermarkets there's a huge play area which is full of a children's circus. You know the one I mean?
Yes.
Yeah? So Martina said, can you be all right with this? So I said, yeah. She said, what will we do? I said, we'll go to the children's circus. She said, I might have guessed. I haven't told... Elizabeth about it yet.
She is gonna love it.
Yeah. Actually, that's really nice. You need to do this sort of show again. We learn so much. Oh, well, thank you to Susan. Cue Pete and Dudley song. No, we don't do any of the Pete and Dudley songs because I know one of them too well. We're going to love and leave you, boys and girls. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Have a great afternoon and rest of the weekend with RTI. We'll see you again soon. And just today, that's what it's called, we'll leave you with some more Axel.